Video, we're going to talk about how to get your RAEK profiles from RAEK over to your Klaviyo account using Zapier. First step is you got to have a RAEK account with an active EchoID subscription. You have a Klaviyo account with pre-lists in here, marketing lists that you've already created. We'll talk about this just briefly, but whether you have a master list or you segment your data by B2B or B2C, you want to have those set up ahead of time. Well, this will make a little bit more sense as we go down this video, and we'll go over this a little bit more. So first up, we'll jump over to Zapier, and we're creating a new Zap right here. I'm going to go ahead and click the trigger, search for RAEK, and then up here in the trigger events, you want to use the Get EchoID profiles. Continue. And it'll list all the websites you have available in your account with an active EchoID subscription. And then under the test, this is where it's going to grab some test data from your RAEK account. If you just signed up with RAEK and you have not installed yet, or you have not collected any profiles, this part might be a little tricky because Zapier works better with some test data for the setup process. So maybe let it run for a little bit, collect a few profiles, and that'll allow you to work with the Zapier integrations a little easier. So right here we've got 3 profiles, doesn't matter which one, we're just going to select that and continue. The next step, we're going to add in filter, and then we're going to rename this real quick. Filter B2C profiles. Now what we're doing here is we're going to filter by personal email and say condition at the very bottom exists. Why we're doing this is because RAEK passes both B2B and B2C profiles. So most of our data comes with B2C data as well as B2B data, but sometimes we have a B2B profile that we don't have the personal information on. So if this Zap tries to run and we try to create a Klaviyo contact, but the personal email doesn't exist, you're going to get all sorts of kind of errors. So what we're doing here is filtering to make sure it does exist. Then we're going to go down here and add Klaviyo. And then this is also an important step. A lot of people choose the add profile to list or create profile. You want the create or update profile. EchoID specifically sends you data over to Zapier whenever it's a new profile or if there's new information on that profile. So you want the most up-to-date information. So this create or update event, action event, is the best one. Once you've done that, add account, reconnect, hang on one sec. So it's just authenticating our account real quick again. Continue. Now here's where that list is important. You could have one master list similar to like this one, where you put both B2B and B2C data in there. You may have duplicate, like say John Doe's personal email and then a second record with John Doe and his business information. You could do it that way, or you could segment your list out and have separate. So we'll do the separate for now. So we're going to select RAEK EchoID B2C, and then in here we're going to grab the personal email. Now this exact record, it doesn't exist, so this filter is going to filter this profile out, but we'll still select that for now. And under first name, last name. Now you could set up multiple records for phone number if you wanted in your Klaviyo account. So it just depends on what you want. You have your personal phone number. This could be, could be a cell phone or a landline. Typically the cell phone data gets pushed over here. So if you just want in your Klaviyo account cell phone data, you could do that, or you could do personal phone, and then you could add another field in your Klaviyo account for cell phone. We're going to go ahead and move forward with just personal phone on this one. You can fill out the rest of these if you need them. If you don't, you can just go ahead and skip them. They're all optional. You are required to have at least an email or at least a phone number in a Klaviyo contact. Our data comes through with either at least a personal email or at least a business email. Those are the two minimum requirements for a profile from RAEK. So from there, we just hit continue. We could test this step. It's probably going to fail because that data, the email, didn't exist. So in this test record that we grabbed from up here, it's not going to work, but we can go ahead and skip that test. And then you would go ahead and publish. It wants me to fix this, so let's go ahead and do this for you. Troubleshoot. So up here in the test, we'll grab a different record. I do not see personal email on this one. Personal email right here. So we'll choose that record and continue with that. So now if we go back down here and we hit continue, continue, test step, invalid input. Okay, so what it is right here, we're seeing that the phone number came through, and this phone number is missing the plus sign for the country code. So what we could do is, if it's missing, you can add a plus sign right there and then hit continue, test step, and then there you go, it's done. So then all you have to do is publish. It still says fix issue. What is the issue? I don't see. Oh, it's because this didn't test it yet. So there we go. It needed to test it with the new test profile that we did up here. If you get stuck on something like that, always retest these. It's just trying to help make sure everything's valid. So we changed the test profile we used up here. We wanted to validate this one that it worked. We validated that this one worked. Moving forward, after you publish it, if the personal email does not exist, it's just going to filter it out and the next step won't run. So we're good to go there. Go down here, continue, continue, and then publish. Then you are live. You can upgrade to Zapier for more features, but other than that, you are good to go. Now, with that said, now we are grabbing all the B2C profile data. You can go ahead and do the exact same steps, create a separate Zap to get the B2B data. I already pre-did one right here. So we created a filter, and we'll click on it right here. We are filtering by business email if it exists. And then what I did differently down here was under configuration, I used in the email field, business email, and then I put this in the B2B list, not in the same list. So if you added it to the master list, you could do that if you want, but I have two separate lists. But business email, same first and last name, business direct phone number, business job title, company name, and under city, region, and zip, I use the company's information here. So you can do that and then continue and publish from there. Now, if you've upgraded to the Zapier Pro, you have a lot more filters and controls. So we could do something a little bit more advanced if you want, but from right here, if you completed these two steps, you're good to go, and you can stop right here and your data is getting over to Klaviyo and you're all set. But if you wanted to take it to the next step, here's another way to do it. You could add in a split path. And so we're going to do two different things. And then we added our filters. So our conditions over here. So personal email exists on this one. Business email exists. And then we're creating the Klaviyo profile with the personal email, creating the Klaviyo profile with the business email. And on this example, I believe in both, we're putting this in the master list and just using the different profile information. Again, we're still going to see Gary here twice, but we're going to have two different sets of information for him. So how you use this data in your Klaviyo account is really up to you and your company. There's a lot of different ways to use data and utilize it to benefit your company. It really just comes down to your business, but this will get you all set up and the data moving over there.